All right, AP Gov, we're going to go through these handouts. All right, so pay attention. My suggestion to you is follow along. I'm going to be highlighting stuff that I'm going over. Hint, hint. And let's get through this, okay? So if we look right here, the federal government holds elections every 2 years. We know the House of Representatives, people get chosen every 2 years. They got their 2 years and they got to get reelected. We know the president's every 4 years. We know the Senate's every 6 years, okay? So, every 2 years, representatives, 4 president, 6 Senate. All right. But they don't just wait every 6 years to elect all the senators. If not, you'd have, 100 senators elected in 1 year? No, that's not going to happen. So they divide it in thirds. So every 2 years, they'll elect around between 30 to 34, 35 senators. 33 is a third of 100. All right. So every 2 years, they'll elect roughly 33% of the senators. Okay? But then they have the representatives that they'll vote for. All right, and so on. Make sure you go through these concepts, okay? There is a word here I will guarantee you 100 and 1,000% that this word will be on your AP exam, okay? Incumbents, okay? INCUMBENTS. Why do incumbents win at such high rates? First, you got to understand what an incumbent is. Okay, this is somebody who's already been elected and is running for re-election. So, say I'm running for House of Representative in my hometown. So, we got North Carolina. Okay, we got 13 House of Representatives. They divide our state, all right, into different districts. Okay, I'm running for, we'll say, District 12. All right, I've already been elected once, so everybody out there knows my name. All right, it's not like I'm starting fresh. They've heard my name. They know I'm a House of Representatives. I'm running for re-election. Oh, when they look at the ticket, they're going to see my name and say, hey, this name sounds familiar. Well, likely he's going to get it. Okay? 90% of the time, incumbents always win because, one, what they call name recognition, 100% test questions. I'm going over it. All right? And guarantee it's on the AP final. It's just an easy question you should be able to get. Incumbents are going to get reelected most of the time because of name recognition. They know their name. They know their district. They've been elected before. All right. Then go through the rest of these questions. Why is voter turnout so low in the U.S.? Okay, what is the impact of primary elections and who votes in them? Okay, talks about political parties, money contributions, and so on. All right, moving on. Okay, the election cycle. Okay, up here in this box, make sure you highlight this. It talks about what I just went over, incumbent advantages. There is 2 key concepts. Representatives who run for re-election win 90% of the time. And while incumbent senators have tremendous advantage, House incumbents have a greater. So, senator incumbents versus representative incumbents. All right, representative incumbents are more likely going to win. Because think about it. You're running in just your small little district. Remember, senators, there's only 2 per state. All right, so they're running statewide. It's going to be a lot harder. Okay? There's a word here. I would highlight this word. 100% test question, 100% final question, 110% that's going to be on your AP final exam in May. Gerrymandering. Know this word. Okay? It's when they draw the congressional district line. So you got our state. All right? Whoever is in charge, whether it be Democrats or Republicans, we'll say the Republicans in charge, all right, which they are. All right? They get to draw the lines. So they're going to draw the lines for the House of Representatives. Okay? They're going to draw these 13 districts within our state. There's certain rules that you're allowed to do. It's in the PowerPoint I gave y'all. All right? But whoever holds the House in that state gets to draw these lines. Okay? Which pretty much you can lock up. You can draw it how you can lock up your districts knowing who's going to vote for who. Pretty smart, actually. Okay? Then you got the election cycle. You got closed primaries versus open primaries. Quickly going through it. In a closed primary, you have to be registered. Okay? If I'm registered Democrat, in a closed primary, I can only vote for Democrats. All right? Vice versa for Republicans. If you're a Republican in a closed primary, you can only vote for your list of Republicans. That's like when last election, there were 16 Republicans on that list. If you're a Republican, you can only vote for one of them. Okay? It's pretty smart. So just for instance, if it was a open primary, you can be registered as Republican and vote Democrat. So I could be a registered Republican If it was an open primary, I could say, hey, I'm going to vote for a Democrat who I know is not going to win and try to sabotage the whole thing. Pretty smart. Okay? That's why most states have what they call a closed primary. In a closed primary, if you are an independent, you are registered as an independent, you don't get to vote in the primary election. You get to vote in the general election when it's narrowed down to 2, but the primaries when we narrow down that list of people to 1 person. Okay? Know the difference. Read through these. Know the difference between a closed and a primary. I had a great video on the PowerPoint. I hope you looked through it. Okay? Make sure you look through blanket primary. Plurality. There's a word in there. Make sure you highlight this word. Plurality. Okay? The greatest number of votes, but not more than half of the total votes cast. All right? Obviously, you should know what a majority is. Majority is more than half. Okay? If no candidate receives the required share of votes, sometimes they have what they call a runoff primary is held. All right? So if nobody has the majority, then they'll have a runoff. They'll narrow it down to 2, and then they go head to head. Read through this. Okay? Make sure you go through this. Make sure you know what delegates are. Make sure you know what the state caucuses are. It's also in my video. All right? Make sure you know what the convention's in. Make sure you know what superdelegates they are. Read through that. Only Democratic Party uses superdelegates. All right? Make sure you know when the general election is. All right? Held on the Tuesday after the first Monday. Understand that. Held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday. So if November 1st is on a Tuesday, they will not have an election that day. They're going to wait another week. It'll be the 8th. Okay? Steps toward nomination. Read through it. Okay? That page weren't very important to me. All right. This chart, I'm going to summarize for you real quick. I would write this down because I'm going to ask you on the test Friday, what are the steps toward the presidential nomination? Step number 1. Write this down on your notes. Endorsement. You have to be endorsed. Okay? The Democratic Party says, hey, I like this guy. Let's endorse him. Step 2. Official. You become an official of that party. All right? Step 3. You got to increase your profile. You got to get out there. Got to get into public. Got to get the media looking at you. Step 4. Okay? You got to have your personnel. Campaign personnel. There it is. And step 5, primary season begins. Okay? Right now we're getting ready for this. Okay, moving on. Make sure you can go read through this about financial campaigns. There's limits. All right. Still moving on. Primary season begins January 1st of an election year. It begins. Make sure you know what a stump speech is. I would highlight this. Okay, it's also known as stumping. Okay, read it. Super Tuesday, 100% test question. Front loading, 100% test question. Both of these. Okay, both of these were in my video I showed you. It's a YouTube video. It talks about primaries versus, talks about primaries, caucuses, talks about all that. Talks about voting. It's good. Open and closed primaries. It's a good video. I'd look at that PowerPoint I sent you. Okay. Then we got our national convention. Okay. Happens every 4 years. This is where they get the Republican and Democrat to have a big party. They talk about it. They say, oh, we're going to win and what all we're going to do, you know. Moving on. Read through it. Okay. So then you have your general election. You got 1 versus 1 in the general election, the electoral college. All right, remember that magic number is 270, 270 to win. If there ain't a winner, if it's somehow 269 to 269, which is possible, then they go to the House of Representatives. This happened twice, 1800, 1824. Okay, so most states have what they call a winner-take-all system. I've went over this before in one of my earlier videos. So say North Carolina, for example, has 15 electoral votes out there. All right, in a winner-take-all system, whoever gets the majority, whoever hits that 51%, gets all those 15 points. Okay? Some states, there ain't many, there's like 2. Massachusetts and another one. that don't have a winner-take-all system. So somebody could win maybe, if there's 4 votes out there, somebody could win 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, so on. Okay, most states have the winner-take-all. You get the majority, you get all those votes. Okay, smart. Go after the bigger states. California, Texas, got 50-some electoral votes versus 30-some electoral votes. All right. It's called a winner-take-all system. That's for the states. You win the majority, you get the vote. Okay? The news media on elections have a big role. Okay, go through this. Election day. Okay? I would read through this. I would highlight this last box and read through it. It talks about voting patterns. It's not everybody's. There's trends for everything. Okay? Guaranteed test question and guaranteed AP final question. They're going to ask you about voting. And who is the more likely to vote the most? It's always the higher educated. First is the educated, then it's the age. Okay? First is your education level, and then it goes to age. Last sentence is the lowest is around 20, 18 to 22, 23. All right. Moving on. Okay, this page right here, make sure you know what split ticket voting is. All right. Split ticket voting leads to a divided government. One party controls the Senate or the House, and the other one controls the White House. For example, if the president is Republican, and then the majority of the House and the Senate is Democrat, if you got the president here's Republican, you got the Congress who is Democrat. The president's going to keep trying to get all these things passed, but they're going to say, no, we're not going to pass them. Or they could be like, hey, let's pass this. He's going to say, no, I'm not signing it. There you go. That's what split ticket voting is. Okay? Remember this word, de-alignment versus realignment. Go through it. Okay? Here, let's look at these terms. You should know incumbent advantage. I went over that. 90% you're going to get reelected. If you're in the House, you're more likely going to get reelected than the Senate because obviously you're representing your home district. Gerrymandering, no. Nominations, no. Closed versus open primaries, no. Plurality, runoff, a caucus. You know what it is. It's in the video. It's in my notes. Delegates, superdelegates. Okay, Super Tuesday, front loading, know those. Electoral college, winner take all, mandate, voter turnout. Okay, and lastly is the summary. Go through this. It really breaks it down pretty good. Okay, read through all these. All right, know them. All right, my suggestion to you is go through this video a couple times. What I would do if I was you, I would go through this video, all right, and take notes as I just went over what is going to be on the test, obviously. All right, and then I would go back through it and listen to it again while I'm not taking my notes and listen to what's going on. So, good luck. I'm out.